Operation Sindoor didn't just change India's military reputation, it changed India's defense and weapons business landscape forever. And in doing so, it has created massive new opportunities that most Indians don't know about yet. If you are a business owner, a manufacturer, or a startup founder, or you want to be one in the near future, you need to watch this video till the end. Because by the time I finish, you will understand why the next decade is among the greatest opportunities for Indian businesses in our history. And we'll also tell you exactly how to position yourself to capture them. Because let's make one thing clear, the next wave of big startups in India won't be D2C brands, but companies in these segments. Now let's start with France. The country that supplies our most advanced fighter jet, the Rafale, who is the global manufacturing superpower for weapons, is now suddenly buying missile systems from us, from India. The supplier has become the customer. But to understand how we got here and how this is a massive opportunity for us, we need to go back. We need to go back to the beginning because the contrast is absolutely shocking. 10 years ago, India was an embarrassment in defense manufacturing and production. I don't say this lightly, I am also a patriot. But we were the world's largest arms importer. In fact, more than 70% of everything our military used, fighter jets, submarines, missiles, helicopters, came from outside. Russia, France, Israel, America. We were completely dependent on foreign goodwill to defend ourselves despite the will of our men. Every time we needed a new spare part, we had to ask permission. Every time we needed an upgrade, we had to pay massively overpriced foreign prices. Every time there was geopolitical tension, our supply chain was at risk. This was India's reality as recently as 2013, 2014. Then something shifted. Atmanirbhar Bharat wasn't just a slogan, it was a policy revolution. Private companies were for the first time allowed into the defense manufacturing space. MSMEs were actually actively pulled into the supply chain. Two defense industrial corridors were set up, one in Uttar Pradesh and one in Tamil Nadu. Foreign direct investment in defense was liberalized to 74%. In fact, the government published positive indigenization lists, a list of defense items that India will no longer import that they have to make in-house. That list now has over 346 items on it. Everything from electronic components to advanced missile subsystems must now be made in India. That one policy decision created a new industry overnight. And then came the moment that proved that all of it actually works. Operation Sindoor. India, for the first time in their history, conducted precision missile strikes against terrorist infrastructure targets across the border. But what the world noticed wasn't just the military outcome of India versus Pakistan, but was how India did it. Zero American platforms, zero foreign logistics dependency. BrahMos supersonic cruise missiles were used, made in India. Akashteer air defense control systems, again made in India. SkyStriker loitering munitions, once more made in India. Almost every major system deployed was indigenously built. And for the first time in our history, India fought a real military operation entirely, well, almost entirely on made in India equipment, and it worked. The world watched and immediately started taking notes. Because what they saw wasn't just military capability, they saw Indian technology performing at global standards, Indian military technology. And it does so at a fraction of the cost of Western alternatives. Let me put that into perspective. A BrahMos cruise missile costs approximately $2 to $3 million, which is in fact comparable to an American Tomahawk cruise missile, which also costs about $2 to $3 million. But that comes with massive export restrictions and political conditions attached. A French equivalent is even more expensive, and a UK one is massively more expensive. Now, India is offering comparable technology at competitive pricing with no political strings attached. Now, that combination of world class technology plus cost effective manufacturing is exactly what the global arms market has been waiting for decades, and the orders just started pouring in. Within 1 month of Operation Sindoor, BrahMos Aerospace signed a 4,000 crore new export contract with two countries whose names are also still classified. Let that sink in. Two sovereign nations placed weapons orders with India and asked us to keep their names secret. That is the level of global credibility that Indian defense has suddenly achieved. Let's look at some other countries. The Philippines already has BrahMos. Deliveries have already begun. Indonesia has recently signed a deal for the same. In fact, the news suggests that Vietnam is also in active talks. Armenia has bought the Pinaka rocket system worth $250 million, and France is buying Indian electronics and defense software along with the missiles. The United States, the largest importer of Indian defense materials and components all of a sudden. In fact, Germany, Australia, Saudi Arabia, Nigeria, Kenya, a total of 80 countries are now buying from India's defense companies. Indian defense exports, which in 2013-14 were 686 crores, in 25-26 were 38,424 crores, a 56 time increase. And we are not done. The Indian government wants to push it to 50,000 crores by 2029. Goldman Sachs has projected that the annual earnings growth for India's private defense companies will be more than 32%. And we are not slowing down, we are accelerating. Now, let me tell you something that nobody is talking about in the mainstream media. Because everything I have told you so far has been about big things. BrahMos, Pinaka, 80 countries, 38,000 crores. Sounds like a story about Tatas, Mahindras, Adanis, about HAL. Large corporations with tech to make this with thousands of crores in capital. But here is the reality that nobody is talking about, and here comes the opportunity. Today, 16,000 Indian MSMEs, 16,000 Indian MSMEs are a part of India's defense supply chain. These are small and medium businesses, not Tata, not Mahindra, not Adani. Small manufacturers, component makers, software companies, testing facilities, all of which contribute to systems being exported to 80 countries as state-of-the-art weaponry. Every BrahMos missile that gets exported doesn't come from a single factory. It is assembled from hundreds and thousands of components made by hundreds of different suppliers. Precision bearings manufactured in Pune by small engineering firms. Titanium fasteners sourced from Gujarat from a range of manufacturers. Thermal insulation components made all the way down south in Coimbatore. Electronic control units developed by Bengaluru tech companies. Specialty steel forgings produced in Rajkot. Composite materials from manufacturers in Hyderabad. Optical systems all the way from precision engineering firms across India. These are not the headline companies that come in export lists, but these are the Indian MSMEs, many of them family businesses, supplying to one of the world's most advanced weapons system, which is said to be near impossible to intercept. And all of it is being exported to many, many countries. And here is something even more powerful that most people completely miss. It's not just exports. All of these components, every single one of them, is also being sourced through government tenders. Exports may seem hard, but domestically, tenders on the GEM portal from the same government you elected certainly are easier. The same government that is exporting BrahMos to 80 countries is simultaneously procuring thousands of components from Indian MSMEs through open tenders. That means you don't even need to talk about exports and how to participate in them. You can simply supply to India's own armed forces through a transparent government procurement process with guaranteed payment and long term contracts, including repeat orders. This is arguably an even easier entry point than getting into advanced exports. And most Indian business owners have no idea how this door is open. The government has published 346 items on its positive indigenization list, 346 product categories that India will no longer import. Every single one now needs an Indian manufacturer, and in fact needs more than one Indian manufacturer to supply for both domestic as well as export users. That is 346 open doors waiting for Indian businesses to walk in and grab them by the throat. So how does an Indian business actually enter this opportunity? Well, it comes in three parts. The first one is innovations for defense excellence. The government's program specifically designed to bring startups and MSMEs into the defense sector and promote indigenous manufacturing. Submit a proposal. If selected, funding, mentorship, and direct access to defense procurement are all available to you. In fact, 619 companies, including startups and MSMEs, have already received contracts under this program. The second bit is the Defense Industrial Corridor. Uttar Pradesh and Tamil Nadu both actively seeking MSME suppliers. Infrastructure already exists. Connections to larger defense PSUs are facilitated. If you manufacture anything, this is your fastest entry point. Third, Tier 2 and Tier 3 suppliers have many advanced partnerships possible with Bharat Electronics, Hindustan Aeronautics, and Tata Systems. All are actively looking to replace imported components with Indian MSMEs. You won't be selling directly to the government, but you will be selling to these companies who will in turn go and sell to government. And working with these companies, this is the largest project in India's history. 10 years ago, we begged countries to sell us weapons. Today, France, Germany, Australia, Saudi Arabia, and many, many more nations are our customers. Operation Sindoor didn't just win a military conflict, it proved to the world that India can build world-class technology at costs no Western nation can match. That combination is the most powerful business proposition any country has ever had. 16,000 MSMEs are already in this supply chain. 346 product categories are still waiting to be filled. Thousands of crores in government tenders and many more thousands of crores in export opportunities. The question is, will you be next? At Exposol Business Consulting, this is exactly what we do. We identify these opportunities for Indian businesses, and we not only tell them what to do, but we also map which specific areas they can work with, which corridors are relevant for your business, and which would be the best opportunity for you to execute. And we are here to help you out. We won't be telling you all opportunities, but only the ones that would be a good fit for you, that let you walk through the door. If you want to explore whether your business has a role in India's defense and export supply chain, or whether you're looking to start one that might do, comment defense or send us a DM. We will tell you exactly where you fit or where the next opportunity is. Subscribe to Exposol Business Consulting, because every week we will break down opportunities like this, not just in defense, not just in exports, not just in government tenders, but anywhere where Indian businesses can succeed. Opportunities that exist right now that most people simply just don't know about. See you in the next one with many more insights and opportunities.